video 3. So you saw me do that pothole there before I ended the video. New one starting here, quite a deep one. Patched one there, and here we go. So pothole, 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 big pothole, hidden deep pothole. So there we go. That one's about 3, maybe 4 inches deep. This one here has caught me many a time jumping out of the way of cars, because you can see if a car comes down, it's single lane traffic. I've got to jump in the hedge to let a car past, unless I'm lucky enough to be close to these gates here. But this lane, or this part of the lane, as you can see, it's been patched here. In fact, I think he's marked it again for patching, because I can see where he's cut in. But this grass up the middle is built on this. So it's road that's piled up and soil's gotten in where the trees have fallen down, and then grass has grown in the middle. Of course, it's one of our signatures to our lanes here where I live. So another one here, another one, shallow one here. Give it a month, that'll be about 4 centimetres deep maybe. You can really see how the drought's affecting plants. I mean, here in the UK, our grass is generally green year round. We don't do brown grass. Brown grass is a fire hazard. So here's another one that's nearly had me several times. Now this is where it actually gets pretty bad. Oh, buzzard. So this one's nasty. So yep. And that carries on all the way up, about there. Got another one there where a patch is, so patch sunken in, and the pothole started there. Again, you can see the gravel that's come up from where these potholes have been chipped in. Pothole. Again, so you can see it. I shall put my large self in. Oh, that's even deeper than that one. So this one's gotten deeper. So it starts where my foot is and then comes up here. So that's at least half a foot. And there's one right behind it. Not quite as deep, but just as nasty. In fact, that's a hidden-ish pothole. It starts here and then goes to there. You can see here where the patch has sunk. This one actually looks like one of Southwest Water's dig-ups, because they're atrocious at making these things. And then there's another pothole there. And that pretty much sums up this entire road. You get small stretches of maybe about 10, 15 feet, if that, and then you get hidden potholes. I mean, can't see it. I'll run my finger along here. Right there is another one. So this road is absolutely dented in potholes. This is a horrible walk to do, by the way, when you're not fit. And I am not fit. I have asthma, and I have to walk out to this road every time I want to catch the bus, and every time I want to walk home. Now, coming home isn't so bad. Now, walking back, not great. Right. I know what that buzzard was doing now, so I've just spared you that, I hope. So yes, I'm coming up to some more potholes. This is why I haven't ended the video yet. So, pothole, 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 and pothole. Some are bigger than others. So, again, another Southwest Water patch up. Pothole. And you see where the potholes are starting on the Southwest Waters. They dig these squares out, go down, and then just sort of put stuff on, but they don't properly seal the edges. And so this chips away, and you start getting more potholes. Usually within about 6 months or less. Pothole. There's all the gravel from it, look. Big pothole. Someone's had an oil leak here from these potholes from the looks of it. So you can see what I mean. This is not water. This is a trail of oil here. So, pothole, beginnings of. In fact, it's probably not going to be long before that gravel chips out. It all comes up here and we've got another big pothole there. Again, along the edge of a join. Pothole, again, another one that's going to be spitting up gravel. All that gravel will end up in the middle. You know, another big pothole here. And then here along the edge, see it? Another big pothole. Little one there. More along here. Another pothole there. Another one there. Little one there. I mean, another little one there. Another one there. A slightly patched one there. Better than it was. So yeah, you can see what these potholes can do to a car. Now there is a big patch up here where that oil patch is, so I assume I know which one caused the oil leak. Now here, the surface has come off and it's about to turn into gravel, which will become a pothole. Same here, here, here. So wherever the surface asphalt has come off, it has left this loose gravelling underneath. I mean, the asphalt is only about, it's not even a centimetre deep, folks. It's just a very surface layer of it. And it chips off under the weight of the vehicles. And I'm not actually a fan of asphalt. I actually do think that's one of the reasons our temperatures are being pushed up, is we're using more and more and more of it, and it takes the heat and then reflects it back up. This road is absolutely awful for walking in the heat. Patch of work there, long pothole there, little one there, which will become a big one soon. So it's little there, but it's going to go that big. Another little one there. So there you go, look. So you can see the pothole there, and you can see where the surface has come off there so that's the beginning of the gravelling. And then here, look. So this is where someone's done a patch job, and you can see it's obviously because it's damaged a vehicle enough to cause this. So this was a pothole that ran the length of the roof, the road. But at the same time, we also know it was South West Water that dug it up, because we had a water leak here as well last week. But the pothole itself has obviously caused damage to a vehicle before it was done. So, yep. Oh, here we go again. Now I'm walking on the middle because it's the safest place to walk at the moment. Pothole in an L shape. Big pothole where it's actually gotten deep enough that I believe we're at the mud under all this gravelling now. So the gravelling's come up, the surface has come up, and we're at this gravelling which has now become loose, which will gradually get chipped into the middle. And we're down to the mud underneath the road. And it's the same here. Look at the mess though. I can never decide if this is the bin men in their bin lorry or people just being lazy with rubbish. Maybe both. Because the bin men, bless their hearts, and they are our national heroes, don't exactly secure the rather rubbish recycle boxes we have here. They can't really. So, pothole. 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 Big one. So you can actually see here where there's been a patch in the past. So the patch here, which was probably done last year, that's holding, but the edges of the patch, so edge of the patch there, so that's the patch there, pothole. And then here, edge of the patch, big pothole, which is almost as bad as those two. Another patch here, so there's the patch, here's the pothole. So you can see what's happening. We're patching the potholes, but then the patch becomes the weak point where a pothole then happens. Pothole. So we need to do more than patching, folks. These roads need resurfacing. Pothole, patch. Looks like someone's just tried to fill this one with its gravel. So this one when I came down this morning was a pretty deep pothole. It was up to my shin. So it goes here and around there. Now, bear in mind, these trees are dropping a lot of leaves right now. It may as well be, autumn with how they're dropping due to the heat here. But this pothole goes all the way around there. Now, when this morning, this was a pothole that was here, but he's obviously been out and raked its gravel in because it was a pretty big one that would even cause trouble for a tractor. And then, of course, we're getting potholes developing right where there's another patch. So this is another dig up on the road that's happened. Potholes forming all the way along. In fact, the whole edge, all the way down to Woodlands, is one long pothole. So here, starting with one patch. This is quite a big, substantial patch because it had a pothole like that went from that to roughly sort of that length, so about 7.5 feet of length. And here at the edge again, start some more potholes. Of course, there's that long one that's only just starting to finish. I think that pothole finishes about here. So this one here finishes just before the gate corners and goes all the way down to Woodlands, all the way along that edge of the hedge. Another pothole there, another one there, and another one there. So it's about 6 potholes in total along there. And it looks like they've tried to fill them in with gravel just so the tractors are safe. One there. So the gravel, as I understand it, is the Rayford farm, and the tarmacking is Woodlands, with tarmac that they use for their paths in the park and their caravan site. So that's 2 farms footing a bill that should be Devon highways, or I should say Devon counties. Ooh, that's a nasty little one. So there's one. That one. So there you go. That's at least an inch deep, and then it rolls straight onto the patch. And then probably the shallowest of them all before I come to the end of this road is this long pothole all the way along the hedge to about here. So yeah, there you go. And then that brings me to the T-junction of the main road. Now the main road is a bit better. I call this the main road. This is a B road into my village. There are potholes on it, but none of them are as bad as this little side road. And everyone takes this side road because the turn-off that goes down this way to what we call the Forces Cross, which is an old pub called the Forces Tavern, which is now, I believe, a funeral parlour and a dog grooming / pet grooming parlour. The turn-off down there is a blind hazard zone. There's been many an accident. So people prefer to come down this one, go down there, and turn off where they can actually see the traffic coming. Oh, and there's another pothole there, which I think they're aware of because it's been sprayed, at least. See? There you go, village traffic. So this is possibly our currently main road in and out of the village because it's the only one that's been somewhat maintained, because the other road that goes out, that used to be the main road of our village, has more potholes than the road I've just walked down. In fact, it's just one long, bumpy pot road. So, yeah, I call it a pot road, people, because it's not potholes, it's a pot road. It's a whole road of it from the village exit all the way out to the main road by Old Stone Farm. And just to give you an example of how bad it is here, our grass is not naturally brown. It's naturally green.